This is the Jason Walker Show. Two-time National Sports Media Association Montana Sportscaster of the Year and three-time loser, the Jason Walker Show. The best local and statewide sports coverage, featuring the biggest guests from Montana.
Flint Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show.
He's freaking exhausting, too. You used to dance a lot more. Yeah, I know, lady. I'm 51 years old now.
The NAI Hall of Famer Mike Van Diest joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weights. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course and at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
the Jason Walker Show.
Hey, what up? Happy New Year. Welcome to 2023. This is the Jason Walker Show. You can watch it on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We are back live as well. And also have the replays at jasonwalkershow.com, our Twitter handle at jwalkersports, our email jason@jasonwalkershow.com, and phone number 406-209-1267. You can expect a great 2023. Great sponsors, and of course you, the great fans of the show. Coming up today, we're going to talk to Montana State women's basketball coach Tricia Binford. Picked up her 300th career victory over the weekend. And we'll talk about her and the season. Also, Scott Evans, former Helena High football coach, will join us and fill us in on his thoughts of what happened last night in the NFL with Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills. We'll have all that and much more on this day in history. The walk-off presented by Cafe Zydeco, and much, much more. But that's where we are going to begin. By the way, the walk-up presented by Montana Custom Log Homes, the premier log home company in the industry with 3 distinct divisions, so you can create the log home of your dreams and your budget. And over 50 years experience, you can always check them out at yourcustomlog.com to get started today. I don't know. So hold on. What is that? Always check them out. It's at yourcustomlog.com to get started. We've got the today. I don't know. So hold on. What is that? What is that going on? At yourcustomlog.com to get started. 2023, and we're already having issues. I love it. Technically, not really. Okay, let's see if I can do this again without messing it up too much worse. Let's see here. Anyway, that is where we are going to begin today, is with what happened in the NFL last night. And, man, a scary situation. Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills making a tackle, a routine tackle, standing up, and then immediately dropping. And suffered cardiac arrest. That's what the Buffalo Bills put out at 11:49 last night, and Mountain Time. But his heart had to be restarted with an AED. They performed CPR for over 9 minutes and got him to the hospital. Last update, he was critical but stable. They put him in basically a coma with a tube down his throat. He was intubated, could not breathe on his own. And it was scary watching it. It was, immediately my thoughts went to Hank Gathers when he collapsed on the court and died with Loyola Marymount in the early 90s. And, man, what a scary situation. The NFL, took a while to cancel the game or postpone it indefinitely, which is the right call. No question about that. And yeah, we don't talk national sports a lot, but this affects everybody. And the whole country was watching last night. News people, sports people became news people, and kudos to the ESPN crew, who did an amazing job in something that nobody has dealt with. And, thoughts and prayers, obviously, with Hamlin and his family as he, looks to recover. Everybody's a Buffalo Bills fan right now. Everybody's a Damar Hamlin fan right now. And just wishing the best for that young man. And football was not important last night. And you could see the looks on the faces of teammates, opponents, people in the stands, coaches, everybody. Lisa Salters got emotional when talking, the sideline reporter for ESPN. And a lot of people were giving her a hard time. And you try to keep your emotions out of it, but nobody's dealt with something like what happened last night on the football field. So you just don't know and what's going on. But, you know, the best to him and in a speedy recovery, just a recovery at all at this point. This was brought up a lot today. You know, the NFL has no plans right now to reschedule this game. They don't know about this weekend. If I'm an NFL player, I don't know on any team how I could take the field. And we'll talk to Scott Evans about this coming up. You know, he's been around the game. He played it. He's coached it. How can coaches get back on the field? How can players get back on the field? Not just the Bills and the Bengals, but, you know, every team in the NFL. And it's definitely something that's going to go through minds. I think counselors need to be in all NFL facilities this week, talking with anybody who wants. And guys in the NFL need to put that macho-ness aside and talk about feelings and their emotions, because this is going to affect players, coaches, referees, everybody for a long time moving forward. And very big, you know, I've worked with trainers a lot over the last 10 years in this business, and they are trained. They go to classes. They're always updating and learning, and that's something that they do for that reason. I know at the University of Providence, we have all of our staff has to be CPR certified, because you don't know if you're going to walk down the hall and something happens and you have to deliver CPR. But by all accounts, that saved his life last night. The quick response by the athletic trainers, the medical staff on site, and of course, UC's Cincinnati's medical facility as well. Skip Bayless is an ass. His tweet last night about you can't cancel this game, there's too much on the line. Not the time, dude. And Fox Sports needs to cancel Skip Bayless. I know we're talking about somebody's job. Guy's got more money than he needs. He did a show today alone because Shannon Sharp refused to show up to work with him. And Skip Bayless needs to go. And I don't know he tried to quantify his tweet last night that, you know, basically that's what it said was there's no way they can stop this game. You've got, you know, playoff seedings on the line and the such. But now that was not the time last night, Skip. You know, moving forward, BetMGM Sports came out and said, you know, that game never happened. So with the gambling, the fantasy leagues, the things like that, you know, it's way too early to even worry about that. And there was people online last night saying, look, this game needs to be played. You know, injuries have happened in the past. They get up and play. But I thought the NFL didn't react the right way at first. And then they did by postponing that game. And give all the credit to coaches Sean McDermott and Zach Taylor and the players for saying, dude, we're not going back out there. There's no way. You just saw a teammate get administered CPR, and there was a lot of people online, Facebook, Twitter, a couple of text messages from friends of mine that are in the medical profession that said, you know, if you've seen actual CPR being performed, it's scary. And people that have to perform the CPR, that affects them down the road too. So that's something that is going to have to be discussed. And everything's on the table. Was it the hit? What happened? Did he get hit just right, like we've seen in baseball, where a guy gets hit in the chest? We saw it in Helena. Guy gets hit in the chest, and his heart stops. You see it in sports a lot. You see it in life where somebody can punch in the chest and stop your heart. Was it the vax? And I know people are going to freak out, but there's over 250 healthy student athletes or athletes that have just passed away suddenly in the last 2 years. Soccer players, basketball players, football players, baseball players, you name it. It's happened. Whether it's collapsing on the field of play or dying suddenly outside the field of play. That is something that's going to have to be discussed. You can weigh in on the Twitter at JWalkerSports. You can email the show, Jason at jasonwalkershow.com or jasonwalkersports@gmail.com. You can also call in or text 406-209-1267. Not the way you want to start a new year, but you know, it's one of those deals that you can't plan for. And it's what's here with us right now. So happier news. So not so happy 2 days before Christmas when we had to put one of our dogs down, our second one in 2022. Pixie went in August, and Pig, the Chihuahua, had to be put down 2 days before Christmas. My wife, those were her puppies. And absolute, mostly good dogs. So New Year's Eve, she can't sleep. So she's scrolling Humane Society, and there's this thing called Home to Home. She gets a hold of one of the people that has one of these dogs just to meet it. And now we have a new puppy. His name is Jordan. My daughter wanted to call him Rainbow Dash Boy, but his name is Jordan. He is a cute little mix of Mini Aussie Lab, Blackmouth Cur, and Idaho Shag. And he's 10 weeks old. He'll be 11 weeks old tomorrow, I guess. So we named him Jordan because my wife is a huge Michael Jordan fan. I like Jordan Spieth on the golf course. So his government name will be Michael Jeffrey Jordan Alexander Spieth, but we call him Jordan. And he's great with the little one. She loves him to death already. And so, yeah, we have a new puppy. So now we're back to 3. We have my dog Shay, the 34-pound mini Aussie that's not mini. And then Penny, who is the oldest lady of the group. She is like 14 or something, and now a 10-week-old puppy. And it was funny because a couple of days before New Year's, my wife and I were talking, and she goes, when I'm ready, we'll get a new puppy, but not going to be a puppy. We're going to go to the shelter, Humane Society here in Lewis and Clark County, and we're going to get an older dog. I don't want to potty train. I don't want to puppy train. I don't want to do any of that. Guess what? We have a puppy now. So we're doing all of that. But anyway. Let's see here. Great things happened over the weekend. Locally, Tricia Binford picking up her 300th career victory. We'll talk to her coming up. Cam Hilborn and Jamie Pickens each setting great marks at Carroll College, the former Helena High standouts, 3-peaters. Each played a year. Cam at MSU for a year, Jamie at U of M for a year before coming back to Helena and play for Rochelle Sayers and Carroll College. And Cam and Jamie are our Auto Concepts performances of the week. Jamie crossing the 1,000-point barrier in her career at Carroll, and Cam Hilborn becoming Carroll's all-time assist leader, currently sitting at 418. And she's done this in 3.5 years. And she has always been a great facilitator. Jamie's always been a great scorer and teammate. And how prophetic that Hilborn's record-breaking assist came to Jamie Pickens. So those are our Auto Concepts performance of the week. Cam Hilborn, Jamie Pickens of Carroll College, congratulations. Make sure you stop into Auto Concepts for all of your auto enhancement needs. Gift certificates are still a great idea, even after Christmas. And, you know, the snow at some point is going to melt this year. But remote starters, it's going to be cold again. We still haven't gotten to February. It's going to be cold again. Remote starters are fantastic. Lift kits, grill guards, anything. Auto Concepts will do it right. Bed rugs, tonneau covers. Yep. Get into Auto Concepts in Helena today. We'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk to Tricia Binford. 300 career victories at Montana State. Scott Evans going to join us a little bit later on too. Still got the walk-off, the on this day in history, and much more still to come here on the Jason Walker Show. The Walk Up is brought to you by Montana Custom Log Homes. They are the premier log home company in the industry. Veteran-owned, family-owned, woman-owned, and operated over 15 different floor plans. They will build you a home crafted to last for generations. And it's not just a saying, it's true. They built a bar in the Bahamas that withstood a Category 2 hurricane within the first couple of months. It's still going. So, and that was a few years ago. Get in, check out Montana Custom Log Homes today at yourcustomlog.com. Tricia Binford coming when we come back here on a Tuesday. New year, same great show. Jason Walker Show. Hang on.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of the Jason Walker Show. L&P Grocery offers Boulder a convenient shopping experience, whether you're stopping in for a few things or stocking up for the week ahead. From fresh produce and meat to all the staples you need to feed your family, you'll find it here. L&P Grocery is also proud to have partnerships with local brands and carry products unique to the area. Stop by to exchange propane tanks, pick up fishing tackle, grab your prescription, or get your photo taken at the Pitcher Kiosk. They're delighted to be the one-stop shop for local area Boulder residents who want to support local business. Visit lnpgrocery.com and at 215 North Main Street.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Everyone knows about Dinners Done Right and the convenience of the cook and carry cuisines. It's so easy to just stop by and you have something for dinner that night. But there's also one more thing you need to know about. Dinners Done Right Grab and Go Salad Bar. Yes, I said salad bar. Always the freshest ingredients, along with a daily soup and nacho bar too. So the next time you are in a rush or you just want to eat healthy, stop by Dinners Done Right for the soup, salad, and nacho bar. For monthly menus and more info, it's dinnersdoneright.com. Spring is fast approaching and summer is just around the corner, so now is the time to get those windows tinted at Auto Concepts as the sun starts to heat up. Tinting is the best way to keep the sun out of your little one's eyes driving down the road. Plus, it just looks cool. Auto Concepts is your exclusive 3M dealer for tinting, as well as the best clear bras in town. Auto Concepts clear bras will not fade or yellow over time. And don't forget about suspension lifts and power steps for your rig too. Visit AutoConceptsHelena.com or check them out on Facebook. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show, live on a Tuesday. Of course, you can always watch any previous show or this one. JasonWalkerShow.com is the website. Nearly 54 countries now, and still 49 states. I don't know why New Hampshire won't tune in. If somebody knows somebody in New Hampshire to watch the show so we can get all 50 states, that'd be great. Obviously, America #1. Montana, the #1 state. We're huge in Ireland and Canada. I don't know why, but hey, we'll take it. We've had people tune in Costa Rica, Brazil, Australia, the African continent, Russia. Yeah, we're huge. Ooh, that's a good song. We'll save that one for later, maybe. This segment brought to you by Rucker's Furniture. Make the quality choice for your home at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena. Scott Evans is going to talk about what happened last night in the NFL on the field and how would he have dealt with that as a coach, and is he getting back into coaching? We'll ask him that. And on this day in history coming up, as well as the walk-off presented by Cafe Zydeco. So over the weekend, Montana State women, the defending Big Sky Conference champions, fell to Idaho on the road. And then on Saturday, picked up a big win at Eastern Washington in Cheney, giving head coach Tricia Binford her 300th career victory. And she joins us now here on the Jason Walker Show, Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline, to talk about it. Well, first off, Coach, happy holidays. How does Christmas change as the kids get older for you?
How does Christmas change?
Yeah.
It seems it's almost the same every year. It just sometimes feels a little bit shorter. You're in your seasons, but the present choices change for my initial family, and now it appears that they're kind of running the Christmas for us a little bit with them getting older. So it's just a really special time of year, and obviously we want to reflect on and Jesus' birth. And one of my favorite pieces is when the team comes back on the 26th and we get to have a Christmas party with them as well. And so it's just a special time to reflect and have some time together and appreciation. And but you're just trying to get presents in and lots of stockings.
Yeah, definitely. We're talking with Tricia Binford, Montana State women's basketball head coach, who Saturday picked up her 300th career victory, all at MSU. When I say 300, what's that number mean?
Well, a lot of people would just say that shows your age. But I have been the beneficiary of amazing kids to have coached, amazing staff to have been a part of, and a community and an administration and presidents that have really supported us. And so, the ability to do it in one place is a little bit unusual, but I think it's taken an entire team to do that, and a lot of people that have been bought into a vision and made sacrifices, been super selfless, and we're just really blessed to be a part of this community and raise our family here. And but we're not done yet. We got a lot more to get, and every single one seems like it's really hard fought, and just excited to be a part of all these kids' journeys.
When was your first win at Montana State?
My first year?
No, your first win.
First win. So this is embarrassing, but first win was actually in January. It took us entirely till the conference to get our first win, my first season. And I remember Dan Davies got me the game ball And so we had it on my shelf for a couple of years, and finally I'm like, I want to take that down because it was so long to get it. And but it was a baseline out of bounds play. I think it was against Northern Arizona, and Amanda DeHaan, we had an inbounds play, and she hit a jumper, and we just, the whole crowd and the team went crazy. It was our first win, and then, you know, just kind of started building from there. But that team, you know, we were just building at that time, and you know, we got a great foundation in place. And one of those young ladies on that team, Scotta Morton, just spoke again with our team yesterday. She's director of sports performance, mental performance, and we had her on a Zoom call, and it's just kind of a fun cycle of time to see all the young ladies we've been a part of in their journeys, and now they're coming back and helping our programs. And yeah, but that was a hard fought win, and but I think it was like January 3rd or 4th, which is today. And yeah, so now the goal is to make sure we get those first wins in November.
Yeah, well, you've been doing a good job of that over the last couple of years. Tricia Binford joining us, Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. This year's team loaded with talent. You've been getting great talent throughout the course of your career, but this year's team, how different is it from last year?
You know, it's been really tricky. We've been a little bit of a roller coaster this year. We thought there would be a lot of similarities, yet we've brought in some new faces. And, you know, I think the biggest growth in this team that we're starting to see right now is the post play and the chemistry. This last game, we started Lexi Deaton and Cola Bad Bear together, and we've got a pretty fun dynamic building there. And then we've got some really good talent in the post play coming on. So I would say we inserted some freshmen to our returners. We also inserted and got a transfer in the combo guard play, and Grace Beasley. And so we're still working to become that well-oiled machine. But there's definitely some moments of this group as far as our depth goes. I mean, we were pretty deep last year, but the depth of this team is at times a 5 in, 5 out depth, and it's pretty powerful. And so when we get rolling, we're very, very tough. We're just really working on trying to keep that rolling on a consistent basis.
You bring up Cola and Lexi, and just two absolute great players, but better players off the floor too. And I've had Cola on the show before, but they mean so much to the team. And of course, we haven't even brought up Darian White, but what does Cola mean to the team in your eyes?
Well, I mean, she's a key factor for us. We say we're our best when we have the trifecta of, you know, Darian is getting to the foul line for us. Darian, like you mentioned, is such a scoring presence as a point guard. She can really attack the paint and get to the rim. But then we have the inside presence, the balance of the high-low and the post play. So we're getting all those paint scores through the post and finding shots for other kids. And that's really one of the biggest things that we have to have from our post. And Cola just always has given us such great presence. And Lexi, Cola missed about 4 games, and so Lexi was really coming on during that stretch, and now we've got them going at the same time. And then the third piece is the 3-ball in our perimeter play, and so that balance of the inside out and sharing that ball, moving that ball. A lot of times that's a Caitlin Lamardo, Aaliyah Beatty. We've got a Dylan Phillip coming off the bench. We have a Taylor Jansen coming off the bench. We do have a lot of kids that can stretch the floor and hit that outside shot. But you know, that balance of our teams has been something. When we started turning the corner, it was that balance of a roster that has made us at a stronger level. And, you know, Darian White is typically the facilitator of all of that. She just has a knack of getting everybody involved. But I would say Cola and Lexi are really becoming a part of that, because they got double teamed all Saturday and they were still found their teammates at a very high level. So it's been fun to see everybody's progression and growth. And, you know, Cola is a senior for us, and she's playing like a senior, but like you said, off the court, the things that she does to take her platform and, you know, make an opportunity to impact in some other ways. The No More Stone Sisters game is something that comes to mind when I think of Pensacola, and she's also the president of the American Indian Council. She's a lot that she's doing in our community, on our campus, and she just is not going to stop.
No, she's fantastic. Couple final questions for Montana State women's coach Tricia Binford. Picked up her 300th career victory. You open the conference home portion of the season this weekend. What do we expect?
Two more tough battles. We were talking with the Eastern staff before our game, and we just come off a tough loss against Idaho. They come off against tough loss against Montana, and just talking about, hey, after this weekend, somebody's going to be 0-2, and there's so many teams right now that could be competitive for Big Sky title. It's like every single game you have to lock in when you tip up that ball. It's going to be a fun journey. It's going to be a fun season to see how this shakes out. Northern Colorado traditionally just does a really good job of packing the paint with their zone, and they've added some transfers and gotten some size. And then you have Northern Arizona, who always is tough to keep points off the board. That team is traditionally scoring at a very high level. So we're just going to have to continue making sure we get better. We continue to look in the mirror and bring our best A game. But we are certainly our best when we out-team other teams. And so it's going to take all of us to do that.
When do we see Tricia Binford court?
Say that again?
When do we get Tricia Binford court?
I don't know what you mean there, Jason.
Well, we've got Robin Selvig court now, finally. You're only...
Oh, court. I thought you said sports. I'm having a hard time hearing on my phone.
I'm sorry.
Well, I think I'm at an eighth of the wins that he's had. And I will say he did shoot me a text and congratulate me, which is a tremendous honor to get any kind of a text from somebody of what he's done. And Robin, it's funny because we were such competitors for so many years, but it's been fun to kind of support each other with his retirement and the house that Rob built, and just admire him greatly. So it'd be an honor, but right now I'm just going to focus on trying to get 301 on Thursday. How about that?
I love it. It'll be Binford Court at some point, I'm sure, but you've got 565 wins to catch Coach Selvig. So.
Yeah, I'm hoping I'm retired by then, just to be flat out honest. Let's be transparent. He got a little bit earlier of a start, and he had that thing rolling. But we definitely feel like we have a special place where we get to do special things right now. We're definitely not going to undervalue that at all. And every single day with our kids, I want to make sure that I'm going in with appreciation every day to get the best and stretch. And I'll just be grateful. You and I were joking that we have the best jobs in the world. So I'm just really grateful that we get to do what we do.
Well, you've built women's basketball to a standard that has never been reached at Montana State, and it was a pleasure to work with you for all those years and see a lot of those victories. So congratulations on 300. Get 301. I'm rooting for the Cats. So appreciate the time, Coach. Good luck this season, and we'll talk soon.
Sounds great. Thanks a lot, Jason.
That is Tricia Binford, Bobcat women's basketball coach, joining us on the Jason Walker Show. Thanks to the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. It's not just a bundle. It's your home. It's your auto. It is your life. Mike understands that. Get a hold of Mike Miller State Farm in Helena today. Bobcat men on the road this weekend because the women are at home. So that means the Grizz men are on the road and the Lady Grizz are at home. And by the way, I saw this on Twitter today from a well-known sportscaster in Montana who has been in the Frontier Conference for a long time. There's no lady in front of anything in the Frontier Conference. It is the Carroll women, the Tech women, the Western women, Rocky women, Providence women, Northern women. Now, Northern women are skylights, but they're not the lady skylights. There's no lady. There's no lady Bobcats. There's only, I believe, 5 or 6 NCAA schools that go by lady. Lady Vols, Lady Texers, Lady Grizz being a few of them. And in Montana High School, there's not many ladies either in front of the mascot name. I know there's a couple, but it's the Helena High girls. It's the Capital girls. It's not lady. It's not the Helena Capital Lady Bruins. It's the Capital Women or Capital Girls. So, just a little vent. Update on Damar Hamlin. He is still listed in stable but critical condition, and the NFL, according to reports, will not resume the Bills-Bengals game at all this week, which is a great call. And I don't know if you can postpone the season by a few weeks. You know, you'd have to move the Super Bowl. You'd have to move everything. But is that the right decision to maybe postpone the entire season? I mean, they did it for COVID. They move games around all the time for COVID. This is life and death. I mean, this guy's fighting for his life after collapsing, being, issued CPR, an AED to jumpstart his heart, to start his heart on the field. So I think moving this game or moving the season in general would be the best thing. But that's just my opinion. You can weigh in at Jaywalker Sports. You can call in or text anytime, 406-209-1267. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get Scott Evans, former Helena High coach, his thoughts on what happened with Hamlin last night in the NFL and how's life as a mountain man treating him. Scott Evans will join us coming up next. This segment of the Jason Walker Show brought to you by Ruckers Furniture. Make the quality choice for your home at Ruckers Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Ruckers Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Ruckers, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Ruckers Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
L&P Grocery offers Boulder a convenient shopping experience, whether you're stopping in for a few things or stocking up for the week ahead. From fresh produce and meat to all the staples you need to feed your family, you'll find it here. L&P Grocery is also proud to have partnerships with local brands and carry products unique to the area. Stop by to exchange propane tanks, pick up fishing tackle, grab your prescription, or get your photo taken at the Pitcher Kiosk. They're delighted to be the one-stop shop for local area Boulder residents who want to support local business. Visit lnpgrocery.com and at 215 North Main Street.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
Summer, the season to work hard, play hard. The days are heating up and getting longer. The smell of fresh cut grass, the hot sun on your skin. Who we kidding? We all know you're really thinking about having fun and relaxing at the Copper Club Casino. Meet your friends for a cold one. Play a $5 or $2. When you want great service, cold drinks, and fun entertainment, this is the place. The Copper Club Casino, where everybody knows your name any time of year. On Euclid across from Molendi Center, the Copper Club Casino.
This is the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show. The segment brought to you by the Copper Club Casino. Hot games, warm folks, cold beer. Stop in, drink, and gamble responsibly. Coming up on the show this week, we're going to talk with Sam Herder, Hero Sports FCS. He'll preview the FCS Championship game, which is coming up Sunday afternoon on ABC. From Frisco, South Dakota State, North Dakota State, the Jackrabbits, the Bison. We're also going to check in with Alex Eshelman tomorrow. And also author Ashley Giris got a great book out for daughters and parents. And much more. Going to have fun. High school hoops getting back underway, wrestling getting back underway, swimming as well in high school this week. Lots of big push now until March, then about a week, and then big push to the end of May. So looking forward to it all. You can always go to jasonwalkershow.com at any time for replays of this show. You can tweet us anytime at jwalkersports as well. And last night, we talked about it today, but Damar Hamlin collapsing, having cardiac arrest on the field of play in Cincinnati, the Buffalo Bill defensive back. And joining us now to talk about his thoughts and much more on the situation is the former head coach of Helena High. Now he's a mountain man. His name is Scott Evans, and he joins us on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline here on the Jason Walker Show. Well, Coach, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. It's been a while since we chatted. How's life as a lumberjack, mountain man?
You know, I'm getting pretty good at it. I actually enjoy it. I do a lot of skid steer stuff and a lot of chainsawing and wandering through the woods, and get a lot of time to myself, I guess you'd say. So that might be a benefit to most people out there. So, but I'm enjoying it.
How's the family?
Very good. Yeah, we just got back from New Year's. We went down to the Fiesta Bowl, actually. The wife and a couple of the boys went down and watched the Michigan TCU game. So had a great holiday with all of them and going to take a trip with each other. So things are going well. So it's been enjoyable so far in retirement.
Yeah, for sure. Scott Evans joining us, the former Helena High football coach, now a mountain man in Idaho. And I mean that in the best way.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, I'm liking it. I don't think I had to learn how to tie a tie the other day again. I don't know how to do it. So.
I don't think I've ever seen you in a tie.
Oh, it's not something you want to see. I mean, it's more like a noose to me. So I basically say no to that most of the time.
Polos and usually shorts or sweatpants, coaching pants.
Yeah,
yep.
You know what? Now I don't even wear a polo. The collar is probably a disturbing factor of my life now. I've worn a collared shirt a couple times in the last month and a half or so, just to make sure my wife knew that I could actually put on one again. So, yeah, unless the collar has a flannel with it, it's not probably a shirt I wear anymore.
Oh, that is fantastic. I reached out to you today, Coach. I wanted to talk to a former coach about what happened last night in the NFL with Damar Hamlin. A scary, just tragic situation. What were your thoughts watching the game? Or I don't know if you saw it live or whatnot, but what were your thoughts?
You know, we were sitting there watching the game. Of course, you know, it was a great matchup and everything, and wanted to watch that game. We had just actually flown back from the Fiesta Bowl and got back in. So the wife and I sat down and watched the game. And I'll tell you what, it was one of those moments, you know, you don't know what's going on at first because you've seen injuries, unfortunately, in football, and I've been around it for 40 years. And the event itself was, you know, it was a normal event. If you've seen, you know, and you stop the game and you go from there. But then all of a sudden you could just kind of feel the moment change. And I just know that I was in a moment of kind of shock and not even knowing what to say or to do. And because, you know, never being around the game that long, I've never seen anything quite like that before. We just kind of sat there and just, you know, of course we did our prayers and things like that. And, you know, you can't leave any news out there because everything is so thrown out of proportion anymore in this world that I was glad that they weren't throwing out facts about that weren't there. So It was just utter shock.
Well, and then you hear, 10 minutes in or 15 minutes in that they're performing CPR. The AED's brought out to jumpstart his heart. This is scary. This is not a Tua concussion, which was scary in itself earlier this season, but this was, life or death. And it was, scary is the only word I can come up with, because you're watching it going, oh my gosh, I think a guy just maybe died on the football field.
Yeah, and I had a couple friends text me, and they said, are you watching this? And my oldest son in South Carolina did the same thing. Gabe texted me and says, Dad, are you seeing this? And it was just, like I said, that it was so surreal at that moment in time to be watching a live event. And unfortunately, to see that young man was in such a situation. And, even to this moment right now, I'm sitting there and praying for him still, trying to figure out, hopefully sounds like he's doing better, but last night was just, it was a long emotional night, I think, for everybody, not just football fans, but just people in particular, just to know that number one is how close we are to certain things in this world.
We're talking with former Helena High football coach Scott Evans on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. We've all seen really bad injuries on the football field. We've seen the ambulance be pulled out before. Last night just felt different for an hour, watching everything take place and not knowing what was going on. And the look on the faces of his teammates. I mean, you look at Josh Allen, in tears, and him and Joe Burrow and comforting each other. I mean, this was a different feeling. Like I said, from, we've seen guys get paralyzed on the football field. We've seen really nasty broken legs, but nothing like last night.
No, and I said, in all the years I've been involved with it, I've never seen anything like that before, or even close to that. I mean, unfortunately, we've seen it in baseball and things like that. And, going through the injuries this morning, we're kind of talking about it, my wife and I, and she talked about Dale Earnhardt, and she talked about things like that. And we talked about baseball injuries where that has happened before. Baseball injuries where, unfortunately, people have had their heart stopped because of the fact the baseball hit him in the chest. And it just is, it was, like I said, I still am kind of in utter shock about the whole event, and scared because, I got boys who play and things like that. And the game is dangerous anyways, but never to that danger. You're never expecting anything like that. And so you can't even imagine. I couldn't imagine last night what was going on.
When you look at the hit, it looked like just a perfect form tackle. He got up right away and then just collapsed. And there didn't seem anything wrong. I mean, we've seen all the targeting and all the talk about that stuff lately, but he didn't get hit directly in the chest. There wasn't, that look, plus padding on padding. It was, textbook form tackle, right? And there was nothing bad about what happened with the tackle.
No, the only thing that I saw that was, it's a bang, bang play. A receiver catches the ball, drops his head down a little bit and hits him, but the guy makes the tackle and pulls him down on the ground. And we've seen that thousands upon thousands of times. And I don't know if it was just the exact moment, exact hit, one of those bang, bang things that happen, surprise moments that occur, because there's nothing that shows anything that would parlay what occurred from that. So yeah, no, I was the same way. I was like, whoa. And one watching him, you knew something was terrible right from the start when he stood up and then fell right back down.
Yeah.
I've seen that with concussions before, but never quite like that before.
Yeah. Like I said, I brought up Tua earlier. That was a scary situation on that same field a couple of months ago, which is, and then you think back to what was his name? Chuck Hughes from Detroit that died on the field, the only one in the NFL so far. Mm-hmm. And hopefully that never happens again. But like you said, you've been around this game a long, long time. If you had kids that were still coming up and not in college, would you consider not playing football?
Oh gosh, no. I think that's unfortunately one of the things that I don't want to see come from this is the fact that there's a danger in the game. Well, there's a danger in every game. There's a danger that, and it's auto racing, you name it, motorcycle racing, horse racing, you keep going, rodeo. I mean, you name any event in sports, and there's a possibility, unfortunately, of a tragedy, and and most people don't even think about it that way. And the worst thing about this young man is that this situation occurred to him, and hopefully things go well for him. But the sport itself is a sport. I mean, it's an event that occurs. I mean, there's been tragedy in the sport before. We've had exhaustion, heat exhaustion, things like that, that are preventable situations that we've actually tried to work on. So I don't see that this one is particularly that it's going to happen again, and we hope it doesn't happen again. But I don't think I would ever dissuade somebody from not playing, because that would be, I mean, there's too many things we'd have to stop doing.
Right.
It was because of danger.
You know, I mean,
that's unfortunately the worst thing about it is I'm not downplaying the thought process behind it, but we can't go about our lives thinking that everything's going to happen.
Right.
And so I think number one is they'll probably look at some of the situations, and maybe they'll look in for example, the dropping of the head by offensive players, which I would say from my standpoint, from being a coach, that's one of the most misunderstood things in football is the lowering of elevation by offensive players on defensive players. So there might be things like that you might look at, but I don't know if that could prevent that or not.
We're talking with Scott Evans, used to coach the Helena High football team, longtime assistant as well, retired before the season, or I guess at the end of last season. But, you know, sitting there watching everything last night, the first thought that came into my mind was Dan Weldon when he crashed and died at the IndyCar race in 2011. And then I was a kid, but I remember this vividly, Hank Gathers collapsing on the court with Loyola Marymount in the early 90s. And that was scary. And it just, that's what I was reminded of, that, you know, the body is the body. These guys aren't robots. And I think we take for granted sometimes the athlete portion of things and forget that they're humans. And, you know, we don't know the details of what happened. I know a cardiac arrest, but yeah, those were my first thoughts.
Yeah, I remember the Hank Gathers one too. That came to my mind last night too as well. With at Loyola Marymount, I was the same way. I was like going, "What just happened?" And I can remember sitting back going, and you're just in utter shock. And my wife reminded me of the Dale Earnhardt situation when he hit the wall, you know, and it was like I kind of the same event for me as things like that occur, and it's so scary and shocking at the moment of time. And they do bring back memories. They're one of those things that it brings back those memories right away, just like you said. They're vivid in your mind, and you remember where you were, and you remember what happened. And it's unfortunate that this event occurred last night. Oh my gosh, right this moment, I'm still in utter shock about it.
Couple final questions for Coach Scott Evans, or Lumberjack Coach Scott Evans now. Do you think the NFL handled it right last night? Because you hear the reports that they were going to give them 5 minutes to restart and warm up and then get going again. And the two coaches come together, the captains come together and say, we're not playing. There's no way we can play right now. Do you think the NFL and the teams handled the situation last night well?
I do, because I don't think there's any way that you could actually prepare yourself. And I know from a coaching standpoint, you try to prepare for every situation, and that variable you'll never look into. I know for a fact as a coach, I never take that variable as part of it. You know, you do understand injuries, you do understand the part of the game, and you do reflect on those, and you do look at those as a situational thing as a coach. But I think last night what you saw was humanity kind of come forward, and those coaches consoling each other and talking to each other, and the players speaking out and doing the right thing for the time and place. So it's so commendable of those coaches. I mean, I think both coaches did a great job of handling the situation, and as did the players. And I think one of the best things about it is you saw a multi-billion-dollar corporation, the NFL, kind of take a back seat and let the humans handle the thing for once, which I think is a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, NFL took quite the hit on Twitter last night, reading all of that. But at the end of the day, I don't know if you can continue this game. And it was brought up today, I saw too, that, can you push the season back a few weeks just to give all 32 teams a chance to bring in grief counselors and work through this. And I mean, there's supposed to be a game in 2 days on Thursday night and then Saturday and Sunday again. And I don't know how you can, as anybody in the league right now, get on the football field.
Yeah, it's strange, and it's almost reminds me of, you know, when 9/11 occurred and you got done, and the NFL and they started the games up right afterwards. And Tagliabue did that and brought the games back, and people question how early it was, and I really don't know what the good answer is on that one at all. But I do understand the fact that they should bring in counselors for these players because they're so attached to each other. It's a small community of NFL football players. Mm-hmm. There's not very many in the world, and the reality is they all know each other, and having grief counselors and people coming in to actually take care of these people is the best thing they can do, because that's, you know, I hate to use the word machismo, but there's a lot of guys out there who are not talking about stuff, and it probably needs to be talked about right away and get these guys to actually get some of those feelings out and be in a situation where number one, they can take care of each other.
I 100% agree. Did you, over the last 18 hours or so, have you put yourself in a coaching situation going, how would I handle this?
Oh, absolutely. I was sitting there last night going, okay, you know, first off, I watched the emotion of the head coach for the Buffalo Bills, and I was just beside myself for him because you could see the tears in his eyes welling up. And I thought about how close I am to my players and how close I was through all those years. And, you know, to actually be able to handle that situation from an emotional standpoint to support all your other players as well as yourself in that one. I went through that whole thing and how you're supposed to handle it. And like I said, I think those coaches did a good job of being there for their players and for each other and handling it that way. So, yeah, I went through the whole thing of how you do this. And it is, you know, the sense everybody's competitive. Everybody wants games and things like that. But, boy, that was not even important at that moment. It was like, how do we help our people out? How do we make the best for our guys at that situation? So that's what I thought a lot about is, how do you take care of this? You know, there's tragic situations we've had in football at different times, different levels. But, boy, that spur of the moment one, I ran through my head a million times.
Yeah, I couldn't even put myself in that situation. I'd be just a fan in the stands going, what the heck? And then the news guy kicks in and you're like, oh, I got to find out what's going on. Who wins?
And
Go ahead.
From a news standpoint, I was truly impressed last night by some of the announcers for how they handled it. There's a couple out there, Booger McFarland, and I watched Scott Van Pelt and Ryan Clark last night, and I thought they did such a good job of handling the situation because, once again, they were in the same situation as all of us.
Yep.
And they were stuck having to speak on something that they didn't even have any thoughts on because they've never been in it before.
Yeah, I'm not a Joe Buck fan, but I gave him a lot of praise and credit last night because you're not trained for that, you know, in news or sports. And sports people became news people last night in a way that they didn't expect. And I mean, we've seen that happen on, you know, before, but with different situations, but not like that. And I thought that whole ESPN crew did a fantastic job for, you know, an hour on site. And then when they sent it back to, I mean, Scott Van Pelt's one of the best in the business. And him and Ryan Clark, I mean, just letting Ryan Clark talk about, like, you know, it's a damn game. This isn't important right now. This guy's life it's what's most important.
Well, and what people don't understand about Ryan Clark is he's lost 2 organs. He lost a spleen and a gallbladder from earlier in 2000, like 2006. He had major surgery on both of them, lost them to the football because he had sickle cell anemia. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot to be said for him coming back from 2 organs being taken out and then playing ball for 10 years after that.
Yeah, no, it's totally true. And it's guys like that, you know, a Booger McFarland, like you said, I mean, the people in the studio, the camera operators were helping him out get through the segments because he didn't know what to do.
No, it was still at this moment. It's still one of those moments I'll remember because of just how scary it was. And just, you know, you're sitting there praying and hoping. And hey, I think there's a lot of respect that has to go around for, like you said, for those announcers, for the crews, and also the fans in the stands. I mean, they kept themselves quiet and they kept themselves in a good situation where they're praying for each other and taking care of each other. That's one of those moments, the human spirit hope comes out the best. Unfortunately, you have to have tragic events to get it.
Yeah, and that's the sad part. I mean, we saw the country come together after 9/11, and it's not together anymore, as we all know. But for that brief moment, everyone was together. And right now, we're all Buffalo Bills fans and DeMar Hamlin fans, and I didn't even know who the guy was until last night.
No, I didn't either, and it was amazing. Then you read more about his charities and things that he's done, and you saw that there's $3 million that went to his a toy drive that he set up. So there's some, from negative, unfortunately, we get positive, but unfortunately we have to have it from the negative sometimes.
We're talking with Scott Evans. Before I let you go, who wins the FCS championship Sunday afternoon?
Gosh, you know what? I just watched TCU live, and that underdog mentality. Sonny Dykes and the boys are playing very well, and it's a fun game to watch. I was fortunate to watch that game live, but I got to tell you, Georgia's just got Stetson Bennett I'm a fan. The walk-on, the kid who shouldn't probably be out there and doesn't look the part. I got to vote for him. I truly do. I'm a Georgia fan because of him.
Yeah, anybody but Alabama or Michigan. So
now I got a son who's a huge Alabama fan, and I'm kind of a fan of Nick Saban. So
he's a great coach.
I love what they do, and I was so proud of those kids who played actually in the bowl game, Young and Anderson, those guys that, I had to root for those guys too, but as long as USC lost, I was in great shape all the way around.
Well, that's good too. Yes. All right. South Dakota State, North Dakota State, Sunday. Who wins?
Oh, I've got a pleasure watching both those teams play now.
They're so good.
Oh, I'll tell you, I think South Dakota State, their quarterback kind of makes a difference. I think right now South Dakota State's playing at a level that their quarterback's going to guide them. I like what he's doing, and I think they've actually got a legit quarterback who can do some things and win a national title with. So I'm going to go with the Jackrabbits on that one. I know that's going to go against the grain because you got the Titans of NDSU, but I think there's some flaws this year in them, and I think the quarterback South Dakota State's better, and the Jackrabbits win it.
And they got an unbelievable defense. I mean, for them to shut down Montana State the way they did, nobody was able. Oregon State couldn't even do that. And
they were flying all over the place. And I'll tell you what, that D-line linebacker core is something else. They have some guys. Their defense is fun to watch. At 32, I think their middle linebacker is one of the best players I'm going to watch this year. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe before your kids graduate, we'll get a Cat Grizz national championship.
Oh, why would that be something else, huh?
Yeah.
That would be crazy. I don't know if Frisco could handle all the Montanans in one area.
Hey, they've handled the North Dakotans for 11 years. I think they can handle Montana. And I was down there last year with North Dakota fans and Montana fans. So, yeah, it's I think if that happened, there would not be any beer left. But, man, there's not a rivalry in sports that could compete on a national championship stage like the Cats and the Grizz.
Oh gosh, no! That would be it would be something to behold. College game day is college game day, but a national title game with that situation, holy Moses!
Were you in both?
I think a playoff game would be even bigger at the same point in time. Imagine just having a playoff game. Oh.
Yeah, well, that's a good point too. As long as the Cats host, although they've had success in Wa-Grizz lately. So, how many years you have left as a fan of kids?
You know what? I don't know how long this fan thing's going to last for me. I'm missing coaching. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not going to lie about that.
Are we breaking news? Are you going to be a coach soon again?
No. We'll see. I'll tell you what. I sat around, watched a lot of game film this last season, did a lot of things like that, talked a lot of football, and watched a ton of football. I probably watched more football than ever before, which is kind of hard to imagine, but now I get to watch every game. So it's pretty much, I think I've become a worse addict than I was before with football. So no breaking news yet, but I'll tell you what, I've been kind of trolling out there a little bit and looking around. So we'll see what happens.
You know what you should do is just become an analyst. You'd be a great analyst. You just can't cuss on the air.
Hey, I did a game this year. I enjoyed it.
With SWX or?
I did a color commentating at the Sentinel Bengal game on the radio for
nice
at one point in time from halftime on. So I got on there for a little bit.
See, I think you could do that. You know, Rochelle Sayers did play or color with me one time out in Idaho, and she killed it. So coaches have great like Coach Turcotte. You know, he's a great analyst.
I'm all for it. I mean, there you go.
Because then you get to watch all the games. You get to break down because of the game you're calling that week. I'm just saying, I think you got a career as an analyst.
Well, I'm going to let you be my front man on that one to get me started in my career, or my second career on that one. Okay. I'm all for it.
Next time SWX reaches out to me looking for somebody, I will call you. Will you travel to Northern to do a game with me?
I would travel to Northern for a game. I want to see the new facilities.
They're nice. They're not great yet. They're still they don't have bathrooms at the stadium. It's just outhouses or porta potties. But the field is nice. And it's on campus, and I hope Jerome can turn that thing around. But I don't see it happening.
That'd just be good for Northern Montana.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, they have a tough time recruiting there.
Yeah, my dad was from Havre, so I understand that completely.
Yeah. Hey, continue the great work as Mountain Man chopping down. You know, we're going to start building a cabin up at Sealy probably this summer. So I might need your skid steer expertise, clearing out clearing the road and all that stuff, and clearing deadfall.
Call me up. I'll holler over.
That would be perfect. We can work on football analysis while we're doing work.
I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Beverages included, and I'm in.
Oh, I'll definitely include beverages. Yes. I'll go to Costco and get all the water they have. And maybe some other things they have there too. So.
Oh, okay. Well, good.
Hey, say hi to the family, especially your lovely wife, and keep up the great work. And I look to talk again. And thank you so much for giving us perspective on a tragic situation in the NFL.
I appreciate it, Jason. You take care, and all the best to you and your family.
That is Scott Evans, former Helena High football coach, joining us. Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. It's not just a bundle. Your home, it's your auto, it's your life. Mike understands that. Get a hold of Mike Miller, State Farm in Helena today. Appreciate Coach Evans, man. He's always been so much fun to chat with over the years, and he's doing life, which is great. Let's see. Let's do On This Day in History. It is January the 3rd, 2023, National Chocolate Covered Cherry Day. My grandpa loved those chocolate covered cherries. National Drinking Straw Day. On this day in 1920, Boston Red Sox owner Harry Frazee announces an agreement to sell Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees for $125,000 in cash, a $350,000 loan, the start of the so-called curse of the Babe, or Bambino, for 84 years. 1931, Montreal Maroons center Nell Stewart scores the fastest 2 goals in NHL history, scoring 4 seconds apart. 1943, this is the only time this has ever happened. Max and Doug Bentley with an assist on brother Reg's only NHL goal. The only time a trio of family members score and assist on a scoring play. 1983, Tony Dorsett, Dallas Cowboys running back, NFL record 99-yard rushing touchdown. What's interesting about that, Cowboys only had 10 men on the field. The fullback didn't go into the game for that play. 1991, Wayne Gretzky, the fastest and the youngest in NHL history to score 700 goals. Took him just 886 games, 29 years, 342 days old. Happy birthday today to the great Hank Stram, Kansas City Chiefs coach, 1923. He was born in Chicago, passed away in 2005. I think I've told this story before, but I caddied in Jan Stenerud Celebrity Golf Tournament in Bozeman one year at Riverside. And I got to caddy for 2 straight days with George Brett. Fantastic time. Great weekend. And George Brett, great golfer. Unbelievable baseball hitter. Great golfer as well. But I was telling him what I was, my dream, doing play-by-play, all of that. He introduces me to Hank Stram. Walks me over, says, Coach, this is Jason Walker, kind of fills him in a little bit about, me wanting to do sports. And now Hank Stram used to work at CBS. And Coach Stram gives me his business card, tells me to call CBS in New York and say, Hank Stram told me to tell you to hire me. I never made the call, but just a great moment in my life. Happy birthday today, too, Winnie Cooper. Danica McKellar, born on this date in 1975. She's got amazing books. She's become an author. Good Night Numbers, Bath Time, Math Time. My daughter loves those. There's another one we have. She's got a few for all ages, teaching math and great stuff. So happy birthday to the great Danica McKellar. We've reached out. We're trying to get her on the show just to talk because it's Winnie Cooper. Anybody in their 40s that watched the Wonder Years growing up had a crush on Winnie Cooper. Let's be honest here. Let's do this.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
The walk-off presented by Cafe Zydeco, where the Big Easy meets the Big Sky. Make sure you stop in for the best Cajun this side of New Orleans. My wife just sent me a text, and she goes, are you hiding something from me? And I said, no. She goes, are you sure? And I said, yeah. A Helena resident claimed $1 million jackpot in the 2022 Montana Millionaire Game, the lottery announced today. The Helena resident, who declined to be identified, publicly purchased the winning ticket at Town Pump on 10th Avenue South in Great Falls, claimed the ticket winning prize 2 days after Christmas. I did buy my Montana Millionaire tickets in Great Falls at a Town Pump on 10th Avenue South. Now, there's like 27 of them, so I don't know which one sold it, but it was not me. I did not win the million. So I wish. The other $1 million winning ticket sold in Butte has not yet been claimed. So there you go. Congratulations. Somebody in Helena is a millionaire, and Butte. Or maybe it was just somebody driving through Butte, but definitely somebody in Helena. Let's see here. Anything else we missed today? I don't think so. Our Auto Concepts Performance of the Week per players, Jamie Pickens and Cam Hilborn of Carroll College. Pickens hitting 1,000-point barrier, and Cam Hilborn, the all-time assist leader now at Carroll College. We got a new puppy. His name is Jordan, named after Jordan Spieth. My wife will say Michael Jordan, but it's Jordan Spieth. Maybe both. My daughter wanted to name him Rainbow Dash Boy because it's a boy puppy, but he's super cute. He's annoying the old ladies of the house in the 10-year-old Che and 12-year-old Penny, but he's a good boy. Good boy. Slept all night in his kennel for the first time. We've had him 2 nights. He slept with me the first night and literally didn't leave my side. And then last night, we're kennel training, so he slept all night. No whining, no crying, no barking. He was good. So it's awesome. There we go. Hey, thanks to Tricia Binford for joining us. Tom Schultz, the sports information director down there at MSU, for helping out, the assistant, and making sure that happened. Scott Evans, thanks for joining us from his remote cabin where he's a mountain man lumberjack now. Our thoughts and prayers with Damar Hamlin and his family. We'll have updates tomorrow, hopefully. If you missed anything, go to jasonwalkershow.com. Thanks to our great sponsors, our fantastic listeners and viewers. We'll do it again tomorrow. Ashley Giris, author. Alex Eshelman, sports reporter extraordinaire, with some big news coming up as well. Hope you can join us. This is the Jason Walker Show. See you on Wednesday.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited.